Hannah, you should have figured yourself out before you got on the show. Like, you should have not quit that job, and you should have figured yourself out before you got on the show. Because, like I said her insecurities was gonna ruin whatever relationship she might have, and that's exactly what it's doing. But if you are new here, please subscribe. Please thumbs up the video. Please drop a comment down below. I can't stress it enough. Interactions help so much with pushing the video out, getting me in the algorithm to get more people to come to the channel to have more conversations with us. And that's what I want to do. I appreciate those of you that have jumped in the comments. Please thumbs up the video if you are on the video. And let's go. So we get Leo and Brittany, which I'm going to speed past them because they kind of pissed me off. The producers really pissed me off too because we spent so much time on these two for these two story to kind of be cut short per se, in terms of us not really getting to see the rest of it post their meeting, but we'll get to that. But we left off where Leo was pretty much telling Brittany everything she wanted to hear. And Brittany, being Brittany, literally ate it all up. He gets on one knee, he proposes to her, she accepts it. And you can tell it was a ploy. It was him literally just doing what he wanted to do and felt like he needed to do to make sure that she didn't leave him because he lost his other option. She did exactly what she said she didn't want to do, which was to come on a show and try and give herself to somebody and then still be a second option. And that's what she was. Brittany, I was giving Brittany props. I was talking about how proud of her I was last night. Take it all back. I'm eating all them words. She's stupid. But then we get to Hannah and Nick D's first meeting. This was interesting. He comes out smiling to see her. She comes out. She obviously looked disappointed because I believe that she thought that he was going to be looking like some like Jimmy Garoppolo type football player. That's what she had in her mind based off the confidence, based off the conversations that he's had with her. And it's not even about how he talked about himself per se. It's just that confidence, her hearing football player, her insecurities. Like she just felt like she had kind of hit the lotto when she heard football player, professional. That's her own fault. She tried to act like he gave her some false image of who he actually is physically, when it's not true. Like he never once was giving off that vibe that he was like some supermodel-esque type NFL player. Like looking like I said, Jimmy Garoppolo. I was going to say like Odell Beckham, but he ain't black. But like that type of like caliber football player. And he's not. But that also proves to me that she's superficial. You remember at the beginning of the season, she had talked about how like most people are superficial and that's why she typically has these insecurities within herself about her body and stuff. You're superficial. You wanted him to be, you can tell she talks herself up to make herself feel a lot more confident than she actually is. Like how she talks about how all these guys that she's dated in the past wanted her because she's hot, even though she's not quintessentially the ideal version of what society believes to be hot. But she talks about herself like she's that. And I feel like it's a defense mechanism. I feel like that's her trying to get herself out of that insecure state that she's in. But for her to then turn around and do to him what she was scared he was going to do to her was crazy to me. Crazy to me. I don't like her at all. I don't like her at all. She reminds me of Chelsea from last season. But he then re-proposes to her again. They start talking about the height difference because she's taller than him. She's a foot taller than him. She got on these heels that she's claiming she got on some high heels. No, you don't. you look like the way she walked out. She acts like she is like some supermodel. Like that's how she acts. The way she was acting in front of him, you would think that she wasn't battling all these insecurities, which I wish that's how she truly felt. But we all know that's not how she truly feels. But he's like leaning into her. Like I told y'all, I like to look at people's body language. He's leaning into her. He's kind of fully engaged in her. He's smiling. He's talking to her. He's trying to actually really like vibe with her. Whereas she is leaned back from him. Like he's leaning into her, but she's back from him. She's kind of looking down sometimes. She's like, that's how she's looking at him. She don't like him. She don't like him. Like what she thought she was going to get, she thought she was going to get like some type of football player for real, for real. He is a kicker. Like, I don't know if she watches football or not, but kickers are not, they're not super macho looking. They're not super like ripped. I guess it's what she thought she was going to get, but that's not That's not what a kicker is. That's why I was like, how you sitting here trying to act like he was lying about his appearance when he wasn't? He told you he was a kicker. Like, it's not his fault that you think that a kicker is supposed to be as big as a linebacker, a quarterback, a running back, wide receiver. It's not the same. But like I said, she just looks uncomfortable around him, and he appears to be a lot more comfortable around her, at least trying to be. But we're moving on. Ramses and Marissa. And I'm kind of skimming through a lot of these things because a lot of what happened today wasn't really super talking worthy. I feel like after episode 6, which I haven't watched yet, keep the spoilers out of the comments. I'm going to try and watch that tonight. If I don't get it out tonight, it'll be out tomorrow. But I feel like from that point forward, we're going to start getting into the meat of everything. The drama's probably going to start to unfold, and we'll have more talking points. But Ramses and Marissa, he got her flowers when they're meeting in the pods for the last time. He pretty much tells her he got emotional this morning due to the gratitude that he has for her. He said that she made him feel safe and secure. She ends up saying that she's been through a lot, and at times she didn't feel like she deserved the love that he gives her, but he makes her feel that she deserves it, and she feels like she's won the lottery with him. But she tells him that she loves him. He kind of tells her the same sentiments, and tells her he can't wait to have a future with her, and then he ends up proposing. Obviously, she says yes, but she was pausing for dramatic effect. I'm like, can you answer the damn question? He can't see what you're doing. Like, she was taking it in. She was excited. It was obvious she was going to say yes, but he can't see that she's literally taking this all in and is excited about it. So I'm like, hurry up and tell this man before he start freaking out. But Leo and Brittany, their first meeting, also awkward. Like I said, he's clearly attracted to her because I truly, truly believe he has never in his life had somebody like Brittany that looks like Brittany. She clearly was not as attracted to him as he was to her. She walks out, she looks at him, but you could see her eyes going this way. And that's a bad sign. She couldn't keep her eyes on him. That's the thing. She did not want to look at him. He's starting to initiate a lot of the physical contact, the kisses and stuff. Her body language is like on defense. She's kind of leaning back. Like when he got down to propose, she kind of was stepping back at one point. They don't have any chemistry, if you ask me. He's telling her all these things that he loves about her, and then has the audacity to ask her, what do you love about me? If you have to ask somebody what they love about you after you literally tell them what you love about them, they don't like you. They don't have those things to love about you. The funniest thing is she was struggling to state what she loves about him because she don't love him. No, she don't. He then starts kind of like forcing like himself onto her. When I say forcing himself, she's leaning back in a way, like leaning back. Her body language is not directly inviting for him to come in and like kiss all on her like that. You can tell she really didn't want to kiss him like that, but he's like bear hugging her, kissing on her and everything. Obviously, she's reciprocating because she don't want to feel like awkward, but she then ends up saying, this is one of the most awkward moments in my life. I started laughing. Well, she then talks about how bad she feels for not being able to tell him that she loves him because when she does it, she wants to mean it. I said, the fact that you have proposed to a woman that has not told you that she loves me, I'm not proposing to you unless I know for a fact that you do love me. And the only way that I know that is if you tell me that. And then I can determine if I believe it from what you said. So he then proceeds to tell her, like, I don't want you to ever say it because you feel like you have to. And I'll be okay if you never say it. I can live with that. But I'm going to keep telling you that I love you. I said, you have no pride at all. Again, like I said, this is how you know he don't get no play in real life. You literally look at this woman and are like, if she can't tell me that she loves me, I'm going to continue to tell her that I love her. There are so many other women out here in this world, beautiful women that do and could end up falling in love with you. But you want to, that's how you know. But she then tells him that she feels like he's lying about telling her that he loves her and that he's in love with her. Because he is lying, Brittany. Trust your gut. Like I said, she don't like him. It's clear. We later find out they were not selected to go to Cancun, on the Cancun getaway that they do with the couples. That pissed me off because we spent so much time on their love triangle where if they weren't going to be on the rest of the part of the show, what was the purpose in focusing on them? Like, why? We could have possibly had somebody else out there that we didn't get to see, the other part of the cast that was still there. But We later find out that they ended their engagement after they went to Miami because they were talking about going to Miami if they don't go to Cancun. They later ended their engagement. Good for you. I hope Brittany was the one that did it. I can believe that she probably was the one. But whatever. Don't care about them. We're moving on. Ramses and Marissa's first meeting. Overall, their vibes seem pretty natural. They both are pretty much taking each other in the whole time. It's clear they're both physically attracted to each other. They have a lot of contact, a lot of physical contact. I feel like out of every couple, they were the ones that were just like body to body the whole time, kissing on each other. They was getting a little hot and heavy at one point too. He ended up reproposing to her as well. So we find out that the 6 couples that are going to Cancun is Monica and Steven. They could have kept them at the crib because I truly don't care about them. I don't really care about those. But Taylor and Garrett, Ashley and Tyler, Marissa and Ramses, Hannah and Nick, Alex and Tim. Those are the 6 couples going to Cancun. So they all arrive. Tyler and Ashley, we get a scene of them talking about how they didn't talk about having sex, or at least talk about sex, period. We find out that Ashley's been abstinent because she's been tired of not having connections with people, and sex is very deep to her. And she says, like, the next time, she told herself that the next time that she does end up having sex, she wants it to be with someone that she cares about. And he says that it's been a while for him, too, because it's kind of like a soul type of connection to him. And if it wasn't something that was real, he felt like he shouldn't be engaging in it. And I agree, and she also agrees. Like, I feel the same way. I'm not the type of person that's going to be out here just having sex with everybody because it's a soul type of situation. I do feel I'm one of very few men. I don't want to say very few, but I feel like it's more, what's the word? You expect it more from men to be able to be out here having meaningless sex, which it happens with a lot of men and it also happens with a bunch of women too, but I'm not the type that just wants to just be out here like that. But we move to Hannah and Nick. She's talking about what she thinks. She's still talking about like looks and stuff. She's the one talking more about looks than he was at this moment. But she's talking about what she thought he was going to look like. I just found it so interesting because I'm like, that's literally everything that you thought he was going to be doing to you. But she ends up telling him that she likes to be horizontal. She's sitting there kind of looking at him, trying to slick flirt at one point. He then sets boundaries, talking about like, if we end up having sex, whatever happens behind these closed doors, if it gets to that freaky type of shit, keep it between me and you. I got a reputation outside of here that I want to keep the way it is. Basically, I don't need everybody knowing what I'm doing, which I respect. He also wants to be on that same front. Pretty much like when we go out here and see these couples tomorrow, if we do anything, keep that shit between me and you. She agreed to doing it, but I just don't see her agreeing to that. She gives me the type that she going to open her mouth and talk. But we get a scene with Tim and Alex. They seemingly have like this married couple type of vibe of bickering. Like, you know how married couples bicker, and sometimes they already are doing this. And this is where I really started. I started to see little glimpses of like cracks a little bit yesterday. But we're going to get to it. I saw it a lot more today. But she talks about being nearsighted, wearing bifocals as a kid. He starts teasing her a little bit. She talks about like when they first met, he was talking about he knew she was fine. And she was like, I couldn't tell you that I knew you was fine because I could barely see you. But when we get Marissa and Ramses, she's still talking about her military experiences and stuff. He asked, like, were you into military men? She was like, yeah, I was. They kind of like had this hyper masculine type of vibe. But she ends up asking him if she is his type. He says yes. They start tonguing each other down again. They clearly are very physically attracted to each other. Big part of a relationship, like I said, good for them. But she then tells him how good their kiss was the first time that they kissed and said that she was dreaming about it and whatever. He loves it, so good for them. Monica and Steven, not gonna lie to y'all, just like I said yesterday, their scenes, unless it gets super spicy in terms of like some type of shit happening, you're not gonna hear too much from me about them. But she's still whispering. It's clear he's very much into her. I feel like she's into him, but she's not as into him, which is not a bad thing because, like I said, I feel like the man needs to be more obsessed with the woman than the woman is the man. Because if this was vice versa, yikes. But the faces that they be making are so funny to me. They both are goofy. They're still kissing on each other. They hot and heavy too. Even though I said I feel like she's less interested in him, at least the way I feel, she's still engaging in this. And yeah. So they get back to whispering or whatever too. He clearly wants to have sex with her. He said like, she want to have sex, I'm down, I'm ready. But we get to Taylor and Gary. They go strolling down by the beach at nighttime. She talks about how she used to do that with her dad. They start talking about their parents or whatever and her parents. And she pretty much says like her mom loves her alone time. She has a couple friends, but she really loves being around her family. He says that he grew up looking up to his mom because of how much she looked out for other people. Like, she would put other people before her. Like, if it came to like feeding somebody or whatever, she would make sure they were fed before she made sure she was. And he aspires to be like that. She also agrees to do the same. Their vibe is kind of awkward, and I feel like it's not so much. I feel like it's not so much a them type of issue. I feel like it's just their personalities. I feel like both of them are kind of like timid in a way, even though I feel like he's more open, I should say, than she is. I feel like she still kind of has a guard up. We'll see if that's just her or if she's trying to knock it down, but nothing super noteworthy. They start kissing. We're moving on. Ashley and Tyler, they're in the pool. He starts talking about his insecurities with his midsection because he ain't got no shirt on. She ends up saying, like, you ain't got no insecurities. You a man. She pretty much like just pumping him up. And they're laughing and stuff. They have a chill vibe. They have a very chill, like, mellow vibe. You can tell both of them are super even keel. I've seen a lot of like discourse so far from the recaps that I've watched, wondering if she really likes him the way he likes her. And I feel like she does. I just feel like it's just, she's a chill type of person. She ain't got to lay it on too thick because A, she's beautiful. You don't have to do too much when you just are that much. Like, that's just what it is. And she's doing what I don't. Come on, let me shower you with love, and that's what he's doing to her. You can tell he is really, really interested in her as well. He starts talking about his tattoos. She ends up asking him where is he gonna put her name, and he's like up under his chest right here, by his heart. He said, "I don't want to be corny, but like that's where I would put it." He's telling her how gorgeous she is. I don't want to say her guard's up. Because it seems like it could be. I can see why people feel the way that they do. But I just feel like she's super chill. I just feel like that's her vibe. But they started talking about how they didn't talk about looks. And he was like, yeah, I didn't really care. I didn't want to know. I just knew that I loved you. And that's the whole thing. Like, they both said that they agreed to come in here and just want to build a relationship based off of who they are here first. Which is essentially, that's the reason why you're here. It's love is blind for a reason. But, he pretty much keeps telling her, like, he loves her. He means it. Like, that's why he came here to do the experience the way that he did. He also then says that she's one of his favorite people, and she agrees, and they end up kissing or whatever. Tim and Ashley. Here we go. He brings her food. She's sitting there, and he brings her food. They sit there and start eating or whatever, and she asks him if he feels that she's bossy because she feels like she is. He says, like, you can try to be bossy, but I'm an immovable object. Pretty much saying, like, you can try and boss me around all you want, but if I don't want to do it, I ain't doing it. I feel him. But she then lets him know that she used to have a short temper. She gets annoyed easily and doesn't like repeating herself. Same here. I get annoyed easily. Y'all don't really see it because I'm super calm on here, but I get annoyed very easily. Like, little things annoy me. Things that I don't like annoy me. One of the main things that I don't like is exactly what she said. I can't stand repeating myself. Oh my God. I cannot stand it. You ask anybody that knows me, anybody in my family, that will tell you that. But he says that he doesn't like to argue and yell. I don't like to argue and yell. Well, I sometimes like to argue. Arguing sometimes turns me on. And I get super, like, like I said, I love a good debate. If it's healthy, it's good. I don't like to yell, so when it comes to, like, in a relationship or whatever, if it gets to a point where we are ending up yelling, I'm going to have to, like, seclude myself because I don't like doing it. But I will argue with you. That might be one of my toxic traits. But he said it would take a lot to get him to that point. And she's like, is that a challenge? I said, okay. And then he then says if he finds himself doing that, it's time to go. She says, so you ain't going to fight for your wife? I said, Alex. All right, I see how you move it. But he then says that he would, but that's just not his style to pretty much be doing all that arguing and yelling and stuff. So they then start talking about meeting his parents. She wants to know if it'll be before the wedding. And he says, I would love for you to come home. He then says he wants to get his daughter. Now, this right here, shout out to Tammy Talks. Shout out to Queen E. I've been watching their recaps. Roxy says, shout out to them. But Tammy and Queen E said the same thing that I was thinking. I don't think I watched Queen E's part on this yet, but Tammy definitely did. The constant need to bring up his sister is kind of crazy. And I know it's a big thing to him because that's your siblings. But I feel like the more we watch, the more episodes, it's becoming a little bit too much. too much. Like it's moments where he's bringing them up where I don't even feel it's necessary. Like he said he wants to get his dog, and he says that if he got to this point, his parents said if he got to this point with somebody, his parents would drive his car up or drive his dog up, and they would drive in his. He said this. They would drive in my sister's car. Why you couldn't just say they would drive? They would just drive up here. We know they're gonna drive in a car. Why we gotta know it's your sister's car? That's the part where I'm like, what is the what? We gotta chill a little bit on that. But he's like, that's my motherfucking dog. And she says, you got one more time to say it. Talking about that dog stuff, because you know how she acted. You could tell how she was kind of like, when he was like, I'm a dog back in them pies. He does it again. I said, yikes. Because you could tell she said it in a like low-key joking way, but you could tell she was serious. He said it again, and he said, but it is. Talking about, that's my dog for real. Like, it's a dog. Like, that's my dog. She said, I know that, but I'm talking about the statement. Like, she didn't like it in the pies. She don't like him. Because, like, I understand what he's saying. Well, I think I understand what he's saying. Like, because I'm the type, I'll be like, that's my dog over there. Like, that's my dog. And I'll say that people on here, like Tasia Capri, one of my writers that be always supporting it in the comments, I say that's my dog. I say that to everybody. Like, somebody that I'm super cool with, I always call them, that's my dog. Like, that's how somebody say that's my bro or that's my sis. That's my dog. That's my homie. That's how I mean by it. But maybe he thinks like when he said he was a dog, and when he said it back then, it made it sound like he was out here in these streets like that. So I can see why she has apprehension in regards to him saying that. But he says it again. That's the crazy part. He says it yet again. She says, I'm done. And then he starts woofing and teasing at her, like woofing, like starts woofing. I say, are you crazy? Because she's clearly bothered by it. She said, I will get up. And then he's still teasing her or whatever. But then they start playing and kissing and stuff. So it was like lighthearted teasing, but you could tell it's going to become an issue. Hannah and Nick, they're out by, I think they were by the pool at this point. She ends up asking him if he'd ever get her name tattooed on him. And he said, fuck no. I said, good. Don't do it. She said she would get his name tattooed on her. Obviously, we know that's believable. You give off that type of cuckoo crazy. But he ends up asking if he was a hot commodity in the pies. And she said, yeah, we talk shit about you. And he took that as a compliment, obviously. But he then proceeds to say, Nick, I was rooting for you at one point. This was like, oh, y'all both got some ways about y'all. But he then says that he wants to see what the girls looks like, what the girls in the pies look like, all these beautiful women, and she makes a face, obviously because she's insecure. You can't say nothing like that around her. But he then asks her if her lips are done. The thin lips. She says no. I'm like, obviously they're not. Like, they look as thin as paper. But she says she might get them done, and he says you don't need it. But he then turns around and says, if I get the money for you to get them done, would you get the work done? I'm like, so you basically tell her you want to get lips done. She says no, but she says she might get her boobs done after kids because they're going to end up sagging. He's telling her that she looks good naturally, kind of like just like giving her positive reinforcements. But she ends up talking in her confessional saying that she typically goes for the most attractive, wanted guy, like the football player type in the room. I'm like, she is literally talking. And I'm like, that's probably why you're insecure too. Because you, low key, like, she's not an ugly girl. Let me just preface that. She's not an ugly girl. But the way she goes about, the way she talks, you would think you reaching too high. Like, you low key, your type is out of your league, if you ask me. Them type of guys that you talking about, the ones that you want, I just don't see them giving her the time of day. Especially considering how insecure you are when they can go out here and find a baddie. And when I say a baddie, a woman that is secure in who she is, that looks 10 times better than you. Why would they want to be... Ashley and Tyler praying in bed together. They're praying in bed together. I love seeing that moment. Alex and Tim, they're laying in bed pretty much reassuring each other that they feel good with this. Like, they're laying there and she's like, does this feel good? Do you see this forever? And he's like, yeah. She kept asking him a million times. He kept saying yes. Taylor is taping Garrett's lips as he told her that he sleeps with his lips taped. Monica and Steven are being Monica and Steven. Marissa and Ramsey, they're talking about how excited they are to see how all the couples are and hoping that everybody is in a good space. But they also start talking about their sexual tension. Marissa is ready to have sex. That's just what I gathered from that. The next day, the last scene that we got was the scene that was like, what the fuck is wrong with Hannah? They're laying out by the water. Like there's like this like sand and stuff or whatever, and they got these ducks out there. But they're stating how they've never had love like this. It's starting off kind of like we're gonna kind of reassure each other, and I didn't believe nothing that Hannah was saying. But she keeps saying like how nice it is that he's the same person that she thought he was, yada yada yada. And then they see these swans, and Nick says that he wants to go take a ride. She said that would give her the ick. The idea of a man. I see what she was saying, but like you doing too much. Like she act like him going over there and just literally playing around and having fun was basically giving her the indication that he might like to ride. You know what? That's what I was gathering. That's what she clearly mean. But she says she don't like watching men riding things. It gives her the ick. Which I can get where she coming from, but I'm like, come on, lighten up. Lighten up. It's not that deep. He's not doing it. He's not literally doing that. I'm like, you just don't like him and you just want to find a reason to have an issue. But he says, so you don't want to go ride on any ducks with me? Like, he's trying to have fun. Like, he's trying to lighten the mood. He's trying to just have a good time with her. She don't want it. She want to act a fool. But she says, just go do it. I'll turn my head. She ain't turn her head. She damn sure was watching. So he runs up over there and does it. And there's this lady who looks like she might be in her 40s, if you want to ask me. She comes up to do it with him. And obviously, they're having fun. They're trying to race each other or whatever on it. And she's sitting over there bothering. He and the lady start talking. And Hannah's like, Nick. The lady said, oh, she jealous. I was like, oh, because she is. And then she goes sit there and try and deny it. Like, be for real. But they start racing. And Hannah is clearly bothered, obviously. The two of them had fun. When they finish, they get up, and the mics were not turned on for Nick, but they're talking or whatever. And I'm sure it probably was innocent, or maybe she was talking shit about Hannah. I don't know, but we couldn't hear. Hannah's watching the whole time, talking about something. He can't be trusted. You're that insecure that he can't even talk to another woman. It could be an innocent conversation. She is threatened. That's a problem. You're 26 years old. You talk about how bad of a bitch you are. A bad bitch, you can't be a bad bitch when you're insecure. But he comes over and was like, was it hot? Like, kind of joking with her. And she said, I told you to give me the ick. He says, that's fine, but you still love me. And she's like, maybe. She said, maybe. She didn't say I did. I just wanted to make that a point because something she says in a minute. He says, would you be mad if I kissed the duck? Like, just teasing her. She says, do you? He then comes back over there, walking over to her, saying, like, I know you said it would give you the ick, but you really weren't feeling it. And she's like, no, it grossed me out a little bit. I'm like, grow up. He's laughing it off, but like I said, those insecurities are starting to ruin what little relationship they have. But he says, maybe we should call it quits then, like kind of jokingly, but I was like wondering if he was being serious. And he's like, because he rode the duck, like that's why we're going, okay, I guess. And she's talking about like, I was trying to keep the passion alive, Nick. Like, I'm too cool and I'm too grown to ride a duck. If you too cool and you too grown, you shouldn't be insecure. That shit shouldn't bother you. You shouldn't be worried about the way you look. When I say you shouldn't be worried, you shouldn't be bothered by what you have. And if you have something on you that's an issue for you, work on that shit. Get in the gym. Like, you so grown and you so cool, you damn sure don't act like it. You want us to believe that you are. You want him to believe that you are, but you're not. But he was like, you were just jealous. She was. And she's like, of what? The duck or the lady? Obviously, he means the damn lady, fool. Like, she was trying to be funny, but he was like, so I can't be myself around you. You can't. That's clear. Take that as a sign. Get the running, Nick. But he was like, I can't be myself around you. And she's like, you can. I still watch. I still love you. You didn't say that to him. That's the point. You didn't say that to him. You said maybe. Hannah, goodbye. I'm going to watch episode 6 later on. I got Steph and the Warriors preseason. We are playing right now. I need to go watch it. I'm going to get this up for y'all now. Like I said, if I don't get episode 6 out tonight, it'll be up tomorrow. And then I will fully be caught up now, and I will finally be able to engage with all of y'all for real, and we can have conversations about what happened on episode 6. And I can look in the hashtags on Twitter and see what everybody else is thinking. But let me know what y'all think down below. Please thumbs up the video if you have not already. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all tomorrow or tonight. Peace.